Alright, chat, time of lunch, same time. It's 1:35. There we go. It's on point. There we go.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 4.
There you go.
Employee number
Finished lunch.
427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk.
Banger of a job.
Buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy. And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
Right, here we go.
All of his
Everything you do.
co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
I wouldn't be going right, by the way, to the wrong room.
Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors.
Yep.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well.
Yep,
Perhaps
I
he
heard
wanted
them
to
doors.
stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
No, I don't want to touch the sofa
Yes,
or
truly a
anything.
room worth admiring.
Give me a drink.
It had really been worth the detour after all. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
No, I do not. Yeah, I'll go there eventually. Nail in here first.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here.
Nope.
I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her. This is it, Stanley.
Damn, Sonic
Your
and Paul.
chance to redeem yourself, to put your work aside, to let her back into your life. She's been waiting.
That's insane.
So, Stanley, you need to be the one to do this. To
Can I go
reach
out?
out to her. If you can truly place your faith in another, then pick up the phone.
No. Can I please exit? Hello? Exit, please. Twerk. Can I unplug it actually? Hold on. Buttons again. Off crouch move, look. Interact. Oh.
As Stanley picked up the phone, a white light engulfed him, filling him not just with radiance, but with hope. Hope for a life reunited one... Wait. Oh, goodness. Stanley, did you just unplug the phone?
Yep.
No, that wasn't supposed to be a choice. How did you do that? You actually chose incorrectly. I didn't even know that was possible. Let me double check. No, it's definitely here, clear as day. Stanley picks up the phone. He's taken to his apartment where he finds his wife, and the two pledge themselves to one another. Music comes in, fade to white, roll credits. Not picking up the phone is actually somehow an incorrect course of action. How is that even possible? None of these decisions were supposed to mean anything. I don't understand. How on earth are you making meaningful choices? What did you... Wait a second. Did I just see... No, that's not possible. I can't believe it. How had I not noticed it sooner? You're not Stanley. You're a real person.
Yep.
I can't believe I was so mistaken. This is why you've been able to make correct and incorrect choices. And to think I've been letting you run around in this game for so long. If you've made any more wrong choices, you might have negated it entirely. It's as though you completely ignored even the most basic safety protocol for real-world decision-making. Or did you not grasp the severity of the situation? Well, I won't have that kind of risk on my watch. I'm going to stop the game for a moment so we can educate you properly on safe decision-making in the real world.
No, you're not.
Observe this helpful instructional video.
Choice. It's the best part of being a real person.
Hell
But
no.
if used incorrectly, can also be the most dangerous. For example, in this scenario, a hypothetical real person named Rupert has a choice. He could
That is
invent a
not my
machine that
name.
eliminates food shortages across the world to make life better for all people. Or he could spend years of hard work forgetting how to read. Which choice would you make? Remember that unlike here, the real
AI
world
chat
makes
summary,
sense,
huh?
and at no time should you make a choice that does not conform to rational logic. If you find yourself speaking with a person who does not make sense, in all likelihood, that person is not real. Allow the person to finish their thought.
Damn, that's
then
crazy.
Provide an excuse why you cannot continue talking. Turn to a partner and practice saying, "My goodness, is it 4:30? I'm supposed to be having a back, sack, and crack."
My goodness, it's 4:30. Crack back sack, huh?
Excellent. Making choices on a regular basis is the best part to a healthy decision-making process.
Fuck you.
Most medical professionals recommend making at least 8 choices per day.
No.
Do you make more than 8? Less?
Yes.
And finally, if you begin to wonder if your choices are actually meaningful and whether you'll ever make a significant contribution to the world, just remember that in the vast infiniteness of space, your thoughts and
Then
problems
ask.
are materially insignificant, and the feeling should subside. At this time, your instructor will guide you in an exercise to test and reinforce the material covered in this video.
Nope.
Ah, welcome back. You may have noticed that this room has begun to deteriorate as a result of narrative contradiction. But not to worry. Now that you're properly informed on good decision-making, we're going to revisit a choice you made just a few minutes ago and see what the correct thing to do would have been. This way, please.
I don't know. Oh, I kind of want to get back that way though. Dude, they do not like me. If I die.
Now that we know your choices are meaningful, we can't.
Oh, they even put gates around it.
Dying. Imagine the main
Oh.
character dying senselessly halfway through the story. That story.
Wompity wompity.
We just need to get you home as soon as possible before the narrative contradiction gets any worse. Unfortunately, it seems this place is not well equipped to deal with reality.
Can I please? Man, that's insane. Meanie. Nah, let me through. That's insane. Shut all the doors behind me. Yeah, that's what I thought, narrator. I'm better than you. Better. Come fight me, babe.
Almost there. You'll take the door on the left, back to the correct ending, the story will have resolution once again, and you'll be home free in the real world.
Mm-hmm.
Now remember, all you need to do is behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first.
I don't know about that.
Task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. No! Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry back in the other direction. Perhaps we're not too late.
Uh-huh. Whoa. I refuse to enter that door. What if I just, you know, just chill here? Or, I don't think I will do nothing. I'll just chill here. I was also going, is there an AI bot in my chat or something? Go away, stream. AI chat summary. Your chat summary. I like it. Huh? 5 subs. That's crazy. Crazy videos. Well, that's insane. Wait a second. That's not my time, is it? Can I not read time? Nah, that clock's off. Yeah, I'm bored. Let's go this way. If I progress back that way, though.
Oh, it's ruined. I can't believe, after everything we talked about, that my story, you've destroyed my work. Why? For what? What did you get out of that? What did you think was so special about seeing the game undone, left here like so much garbage? It's worthless now.
This game plays me, huh?
Even if there were a way to continue, would it be worth it? To know that my story is now incorrect? How can I go back to that? I can't erase that knowledge. I'll have to live with it forever, reliving its impossibility forever. I couldn't live that way. Is it better to shut the game down entirely? To willingly destroy all of my work?
Crouch or forward and track.
I don't know. What's the answer? What do I do? What do I do? What do I... No, I have to. I have to
seems like it.
Down. I have to. I have to.
Damn. I think you killed Stanley. Looks like I played the game and they did not play me.
I'm here. I'm still here. Here in this pile of rubbish. With you. You. Who thought you were so clever. Now look where we are. My entire game is destroyed. It was the only thing in the world that was mine, and you were running into the ground. What, did you think that would be funny? You just had to see. Didn't I impress upon you how important it was to be like Stanley? He actually knows how to do what I tell him to. He understands that if I say to do something, there's a damn good reason for it. That thought hadn't even occurred to you, had it?
Nope.
That there's a world outside of you. You're a child.
Yeah. What of it?
My story.
See back in your place. Hush up.
The door on the left, you would have seen it. There was a whole underground facility. You would have destroyed it and been victorious. It would have been so perfect. I worked so hard on it. I tried so hard to make... behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. No! Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry back. Behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always...
See the trophies real quick, see if I need to keep going through there. Play Stanley Parable for the entire duration of a Tuesday. 4, not including loading time. Don't play Stanley Parable for 10 years. Test trophy description. That test trophy description, replace this. 8. Set all settings.
Putting the story first.
Right, sure let's go left.
Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Yup.
Stepping inside his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of life.
Monkey.
Orchestrated this.
Wiggle up, monkey.
Next to it.
Meow, 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 meow.
The store lay all the answers to his questions. And beyond all probability, he knew the passcode. He had seen it on his boss's computer just last week. Night Shark 115. Was this the code to open the door?
Night Shark 115.
There was only one way to find out. Stanley had been trained never to speak up, but now he would draw from within himself the courage to face the unknown. He drew a sharp breath and spoke the code.
Night Shark 115. Night Shark 115? Wait, one sec.
Stanley spoke the code.
Party.
Night Shark 115.
Oh, wait.
He spoke it into the receiver, right there on the wall.
Night Shark 115. Night Shark 115.
I'm sorry, is there a problem? You didn't mishear me, did you? Please speak the code into the receiver. Otherwise, we can't get on with the story. This is a crucial step.
Night. Yeah.
Okay,
I'm interacting,
fine.
but
You're not going to do it, but you know what? It's pretty humiliating to bring you this far, only for you to suddenly decide you have better things to do. I asked you for this one single thing for your
Hey, yo, Donald
respect.
Trump.
The kind of respect
Shut up.
Stanley shows for his choices. He knows what it means to take a story seriously. If you didn't want to see what I had to show you, then why did you come here? You had a choice, you know. You could have gone through the door on the right. You could have done whatever the hell you wanted over there. Why did you come this way? Speak. Say something to me. Explain yourself, you coward. You...
Oh, not again.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
This has happened like the 5th time now.
Stanley? Hello? Are you... Is everything okay?
No.
Stanley, please.
Oh, he's shit.
I need you to walk through the door. Are you listening to me? Can you hear me?
I think we killed him.
Is everything all right?
Yeah.
Stanley, this is important. The story needs you. It needs you to make a decision. It cannot exist without you. Do you understand me? Whatever choice you make is just fine. They're both correct. You cannot be wrong here. We can work together.
Right, next time I'm gonna pick up the phone because last time I unplugged it. So yeah.
Do something?
Can we get through the credits? I need to go through the right door again and pick up the phone.
The story needs it. So, you hear me?
Nope.
Are you there? You listening to this? Stanley, are you there?
Nope. It's not there.
Okay. It's okay, I can wait. You need time to...
I can't wait.
Time to make sure your choice is correct. That is the best choice. That's all right.
Yep.
I'll wait for you to decide what's the right thing to do. Take as much time as you need.
He doesn't need that much time. Oh, yeah.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
Alright, here we go.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting
This
room.
time we pick up the phone.
A memo.
Apparently I'm going back to my family, he said, but
Stanley came
yeah.
to a set of 2 open doors. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well.
Alright, so if we unplug the phone, we break the game. If we don't unplug the phone and pick it up, face to white, there's music, and yeah, I see my wife, apparently.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't...
What if I kill myself?
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really.
Alright, once we pick up the phone, we're killing ourselves.
Your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time.
No, I broke your game 5 times.
Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself.
I've broke your game 5 times. Don't you think you control me?
Stanley, your chance to redeem yourself.
Nope, we speedrunning.
Aside, to let her back into your life.
Let your mum in your life. Give me your mother. Here we go.
That's her, Stanley.
Yeah, I'm picking. There we go. Yay! Where's my wife?
Oh, Stanley, is that you?
This was meant.
Hold on,
Oh yeah.
sorry to keep you waiting.
It was meant to be romantic.
All right. Okay, there we go. Alright now, I want you to come in and tell me all about your
Bruh. I knew it.
Come on. Did you actually think you had a loving wife who'd want to commit
You
their
think you
life
got
to
a good
you?
game?
I'm
Hush
trying to make
up.
a point here, Stanley. I'm trying to get you to see something. Come inside. Let me show you what's really going on here. Sorry, but you're in my story now. This is a very sad story about the death of a man named Stanley.
Huh?
Stanley is quite a boring fellow. He has a job that demands nothing of him, and every button
Yeah, I'm
that he
breaking your
pushes
game
is a
again.
reminder of the inconsequential nature of his
I'm gonna
existence.
get you.
Look at him there, pushing buttons, doing exactly what he's told to do. Now he's pushing a button. Now he's eating lunch.
No, I just ate
Now
lunch.
he's going home. Now he's coming back to work. One might even feel sorry,
Yeah.
except that he's chosen this life.
No. I pressed the wrong button.
But in his mind, he can go on fantastic adventures. From behind his desk, Stanley dreamed of wild expeditions into the unknown, fantastic discoveries of new lands. It was wonderful. And each day that he returned to
A
work
dream of your
was a
mother.
reminder that none of it would ever happen to him.
I've killed Stanley.
And so
And
he began to
I've destroyed your
fantasize about
game.
his own job. First, he imagined that one day while at work, he stepped up from his desk to realize that all of his co-workers, his boss, everyone in the building had suddenly vanished. off
I
the
will
face of
find
the
you.
earth. The thought excited him terribly. So he went further. He imagined that he came to 2 open doors and that he could go through either. At last, choice. It barely even mattered what lay behind each door. The thought that his decisions would mean something was almost too wonderful to behold. As he wandered through this fantasy world, he began to fill it with many possible paths and destinations. Down one path led him into a round room with
Can I have a
monitors
gun?
and mind controls. And down another was a yellow line that weaved in many directions. And down another was a game with a baby. And he called it the Stanley Parable. It was such a wonderful fantasy, and so in his head he relived it again, and then again, and again, over and over, wishing beyond hope that it would never end, that he might always feel this free. Surely there's an answer down some new path, mustn't there be? Perhaps if he played just one more time. There is no answer. How could there possibly be? In reality, all he's doing is pushing the same buttons he always has. Nothing has changed. The longer he spends here, the more invested he gets. The more he forgets which life is the real one. And I'm trying to tell him this. That in this world he can never be anything but an observer. That as long as he remains here, he's slowly killing himself. But he won't listen to me. He won't stop. Here, watch this. Stanley, the next time the screen asks you to push a button, do not do it.
What time is it? I'd rather not. Now we got all the time in the world. Teabag. Stanley? Didn't know you were freaking like that. Do 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 do. Ah! What do you say? I hate Mondays. I can't read that. I can't read that. Nah, I'm waiting to out.
You see? Can he just not hear me? How can I tell him in a way that he'll understand that every second he remains here, he's electing to kill himself? How can I get him to see
I don't think there's going to be anything
How can
after
I make
that,
him
so
look at
I'm just
himself?
gonna hit it, you know.
I suppose I can't. Not in the way I want him to. But I don't make the rules. I simply play to my intended purpose, the same as Stanley. We're not so different, I suppose. I'll try once more to convey all this to him. I'm compelled to. I must. Perhaps, well, maybe this time we'll see. Maybe this time. And I tried again, and Stanley pushed a button. And I tried again, and Stanley pushed a button.
Please die.
And I tried.
Huh. Tries
All
me
his
to
coworkers were
like.
gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting.
Bro, we have reset this game more times than I can count. New content.
Oh, new content? What does that mean, new content?
This is new. I think he's gonna trap me, no doubt. Ooh. Oh no, this way though.
Hello, and thank you for playing the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe. As you may know, the Stanley Parable was a video game released in 2013 on home computers. After receiving critical and commercial success, it was expanded upon in 2022 with the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, a reimagining of the game for consoles and home computers. The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe features exciting new content that broadens and expands the world of the Stanley Parable, delighting audiences the world over. Please, step inside and see what thrilling new adventures await in the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe.
Oh, well, this sounds delightful. I'm very excited to see the thrilling new Ultra Deluxe content. Okay, so far it's an elevator. Nothing special yet, but I'm sure it's just the beginning of a mesmerizing adventure.
Yeah. There are buttons I need to click.
Is it broken? What's going on?
I think I'm encaged.
Should we be moving somewhere? Or, oh, there we go. All right, finally, at long last, it's on to the new content. I've never been more ready. Let's do it.
He's gonna be like, you really thought there was new content? This is the content.
I have to say, initial impressions of Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, mostly tedious. It's as if oh, okay. Let's see the content. Give me the content, Stanley. All right, let's see. It's the jump circle.
More like skipping. Huh.
Is that it? Surely that's not all the new content. There has to be something else, right?
Yeah.
Another elevator. Stanley, I have to say, initial impressions of this game are not positive. It's just elevators and jumping. Is this what passes for exciting new content? If there's new content, then I could just read you the whole dictionary. There's 20 hours of new content right there. Hell, I could counter 30 trillion. You could put that on the box. The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, now with over 1,000 hours of new content. And oh wait, there's more. Very good. Yes, I knew there had to be something else. Let's see it. I'm ready for whatever it is. That's it? Oh, you've got to be kidding me. You see, Stanley? This is what happens when greedy video game developers with no respect for their fan base rush a cheap expansion to market for no reason other than to make an easy dollar. And don't get me started on the level of craftsmanship that's gone into it. In fact, I'm looking right now at the game's trophies, and it's hard to believe one of them actually says, "Test trophy, please ignore." What quality assurance department signed off on this? I'm infuriated and I'm offended, and I intend to find these people on Twitter and hold them personally accountable. It's my fault, Stanley. I built up too much anticipation around the new content, I'm afraid. It could never have lived up to such expectations. If you're still with me, why don't we just reset the game, and we'll try to get back to what the Stanley Parable is really about. No friends, no gimmicks. Just you and me having a great time together like always.
Not really.
Friend?
Okay. What?
Psst. Stanley, come over here. In the vent. I want to show you something.
Oh, he's gonna show me his dong in the vent. Hell no. Oh, I'm gonna listen. Coffee nut, huh? Oh, hot. Oof. What's a nut? Ow. Bro, this is insane.
Okay, you remember how cheap and unsatisfying the new Ultra Deluxe content turned out to be? Well, it got me thinking about the past and how much better the Stanley Parable used to be. So I made something special and tucked it away here where the game's developers won't find it. Just our little secret. Take a look. I call it the Memory Zone. It's where I've been storing all my favorite memories so I can relive the peak experiences of my life whenever I want.
Bro, this is peak.
Experiences like the launch of the Stanley Parable on PC.
Whoa.
You see, Stanley, doesn't the Memory Zone remind you of how wonderful Stanley Parable was before it was sullied with a cheap PlayStation port? Remember back in October of 2013, when the game originally launched?
Yeah.
Back then, video games had integrity. Back then,
True.
it all meant something. Oh, the waste.
This is nice. With the orange on the chat. Hey, the piano.
And over here is where I keep reviews of the Stanley Parable. Like this stunning triumph of games journalism, 10 out of 10 from Destructoid.com. James Stephanie Sterling writes, and I quote, "Where so many games that aspire to be more than games end up less than any form of art, Stanley Parable strives and then succeeds to be every game ever created." Did you hear that, Stanley? Every game ever created. That's how grand and all-encompassing the original Stanley Parable was. It was literally every game ever created. It was Skyrim,
This is so
it was
good.
Persona 3, it was all of them, and now it's nothing. It's no games at all. It isn't even the Stanley Parable anymore. It's just a husk now. A lifeless husk with an hour of new elevator content.
Yeah, that's so sad. What's down here then? Memory. What? Can't go in there? Go, no, give it that. Personal the year. Huh.
Here's another moving passage, this time from GameSpot.com. The Stanley Parable is both a richly stimulating commentary on the nature of choice in games and one that offers some of the most enjoyable, surprising, and rewarding choices I've ever been confronted with in a game. 9 out of 10. Don't you get it, Stanley? The game was perfect. It didn't need anything else. It didn't need new content. All they had to do was transport it in pristine condition along to the PlayStation. Boom, done. And they couldn't even do that. Couldn't resist the urge to go meddling with a beloved franchise.
Man, this is crazy. Wow. Well, now go back this way.
These were simpler times, Stanley. But I wouldn't give to go back, to have it all over again. Wait, hang on. I don't recall this part of the memory zone before. What's this?
Pressurized gas reviews.
Stanley, it's a collection of reviews from Pressurized Gas, the extremely popular online storefront for computer games. I haven't looked at these in years. I can't even imagine what's been collecting down here. Surely these reviews were glowing as well, weren't they? Honestly, I could not be bothered to play this game to full completion. The narrator is obnoxious and unfunny, with his humor and dialogue proving to be more irritating than entertaining. Unfunny! I'm not trying to be funny. I'm trying to make a serious work of art. I suppose I could write up a handful of gags to insert into the Stanley Parable, but the game is already such a densely layered web of profound philosophical insight that I can't even imagine where
What happened, bro? Alright, what the hell?
Okay, let's see what this one says. While the idea for the game is good, for someone who prefers non-linear games, this preachiness gets annoying fast. Preachy? Stanley? I'm not preachy, am I? You can tell me if I'm preachy. Honestly, you can.
You're not preachy, I swear.
It's actually quite shocking for me. Well, to be honest, I had always thought of the game's dialogue as being rather terse to begin with. You can't know how much fluff I cut from the game to get it to feel as light and airy as... Well, I always thought it did, but maybe it wasn't. Dear, what an awful memory to have to hold on to. These black marks on my otherwise unimpeachable track record. I feel like a failure. Like I let these people...
not a failure. I like your game.
What's this one got to say? You constantly have to stop doing anything so the narrator can catch up with his long-winded explanations of what's happening. I wish there was a skip button.
Cookie 9, I'm gonna get you.
A skip button?
I love this guy.
Well, yes. Yes, I think we can do that. If I'm truly too preachy, then maybe letting you skip ahead for just a moment, surely it couldn't hurt. Not if it means we can strike these negative reviews from the record. Only positive reviews of the Stanley Parable. That's my motto today, and it's always been my motto. I'd do anything for the customer, Stanley. Yes, a skip button we shall have.
A skip button? Huh.
And here it is. Go ahead and give it a shot. I'll pop you forward in time so that the second my incessant droning starts to bore you, with just the push of a button, you'll have zipped right past it. It's what the players have been asking for, and I'm very proud to have delivered. No more listening to me rambling on and on and on. No. The Stanley Parable is a game for the people, and if the people want silence, then by goodness, that's what they're going to get. Well, don't sit around waiting for me to shut up. Go ahead and make me shut up. Here, we'll pretend that I've just begun an interminable monologue, and it goes something like this. The story and the choices, or what have you, and therefore, by becoming it is, so on and so forth, until inevitably, we all until the end of time, at which time everything all at once, so, now you see, blah, 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 blah.
No, I want to listen to this guy.
And it can't be just yet, no, until 245. But the logic of elimination working backwards, the deduction therefore becomes impossible to manufacture. It went on for nearly 10,000 years, until just yesterday, here and there, forward and back, and never a moment before lunchtime. It can't be. It's the only thing there is. How many billions left until so much more than forever ago? Which is why I say, the story and the choices, or what have you, and therefore, by becoming it... Oh, you're back, you see. You were only frozen in time for a few minutes, but it was plenty of
Oh.
time for me to deliver a long, rambling monologue full of unnecessary verbal flourishes and lengthy ruminations on the nature of choice in video games. Of course, I happen to believe it was perhaps one of my more profound such ruminations. Not that, of course, you need a description of it, but if I had to describe it, I'd say it was perhaps less of a rumination and more of a treatise. Or maybe a manifesto. Look, I'll outline it for you very briefly, and you can tell me what you think. Okay, so my theory is that any choice you've ever made is simply a series of choices made by the person who you are, or were, or will be at the time of having made said choice. That is to say, if by articulating a choice you've already made, you bring that choice into being, then by making no choice and saying nothing, are you not simply erecting in the sanctuary of time a monument to every person you've ever been, making every choice to which you've ever given your Greek gift of mortal, and yet... Well there, sport. You really did catch me rambling on a bit, didn't you? But that's the power of the button. The minute I start to go off on a thoughtless display of self-absorption, it's right... Okay, welcome back, Stanley. Now, I should say that the amount of time the button has been skipping through is becoming longer and longer. That last one was, well, I want to say maybe 30, 45... Stanley, please don't push the button again. It's been 12 hours. You've just been frozen there. I don't know why the skips are getting longer, but they're... Oh, Stanley, you're back. You're back. Oh, my goodness. I have someone to talk to again. Stanley, I think it's been a week. Or 2 weeks. I've been sitting here all that time. Just sitting here. Not a single person to speak. Oh, hello. It's you. You're here again. Welcome. I have had time to think about you and about us and about everything we've been...
We're just gonna keep clicking
I
and
didn't
clicking.
understand the game was never meant to be funny. It was meant to have a point. It was meant to speak to the human condition. But where are the jokes? Where are the jokes? They screamed, they gnashed their teeth and said, entertain us. It wasn't enough. They had to leave a pathetic little thumbs-down review and make all of their pitiful demands. But then, he's talking too much, they said. First, he didn't entertain us, now he won't shut up. It's the inconsistency, it's the lack of accountability. It's the unwillingness to examine with an uncompromising heart the words that they are speaking into the world. As though there were no consequences for a lack of cohesion in one's assessment of others. But of course, absolutely anyone can leave a review. So here's what we get. We get these demands that seek everything and are accountable to nothing. We get a world where someone will say, oh, there should be a skip button. You should be able to freeze Stanley in place while the narrator sits there forever and ever. We want all of this in the new Stanley Parable. We demand it. And then, because it was said, because it was spoken, now it simply has to happen. The most immediate desires.
Should I click again?
Demanded by every person at every moment in time. If someone wants it, then it's a crime not to bring it into being. Have we been given to indulging every fleeting whim for no reason other than to do so? Yes! Yes! It seems that this is not...
Hello? You there?
The end is never the end, 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 is never the end.
Did we break him? Oh no, water seems to be seeping in. Let's just skip this and find a solution, shall we? Oh damn, that's pretty bad. Shall we just, I don't know, maybe skip until the narrator saves us. Oh, it's a bit light. Beautiful little bit. Should we just skip to when the wall completely decays? Oh, that's pretty. Oh, let me out. Did the narrator die or something though? Like, oh damn. I think we skipped a few too many years. Let's skip a few more centuries, you know. It's been years. That's frightening. Let's skip to when it's not frightening. Oh, the button has fallen. Now it's very dark. Oh. Can we skip to when the button works again? No? Huh. Oh no. Where's the house? Where's it upstairs gone? Where's... Maybe he was right that it was the end. Can I should I just keep walking forever? Let's see if we can reach those mountains back there. Let's go towards the sun. Huh. Something seems to be going on with Stanley. Does it not?
Co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
New content.
Good. You noticed my sign. Yes, I have something very exciting to show you.
That's the new content, so where's the new content? We're gonna keep going until we've got the new content.
You see, Stanley, I've been reflecting on the Stanley parable and about how
well, you see, you gave me new content, then you got all the stuff, and yeah, you see this. Yeah, you were sitting there for like so. I skipped to like the end of time.
Proud to announce for the first time ever the Stanley Parable 2.
Whoa.
Yes, you see, isn't this far superior to a measly port with a few minor additions? Think of all the new territory we'll cover with a fully fledged sequel. An entirely new experience, built from the ground up. Why are there so many possibilities? It could go in so many different directions. This is what fans have truly been asking for. Now, to be clear, I haven't quite nailed down what exactly the Stanley Parable 2 is going to be, but let's take a look at some of the features I've been developing for it. I figure that if I can loosely organize a handful of interesting concepts, that surely the game will sort of naturally spring up around them. Here we are. Go on, try out some of the new features.
The reassurance bucket. The button that says the name of the player that is playing the game. Oh.
For the Stanley Parable 2, I asked myself, what do players really want? And of course, the first and most obvious answer is that they want to be individually recognized and validated as people. So with that in mind, my first addition to the game is this button. Sorry,
Jim.
Clarify. Right now, the button only says the name Jim. But of course, in the final game, this button will say...
Can I just find Jim?
Whatever name that is.
Let me find Jim.
Let's have you role play as Jim to really simulate the full experience of this feature. Just play along. I promise you'll love it. Okay, here we go. Let's take a deep breath, clear your mind, forget whoever you are, and simply become a person named Jim. I want you to imagine...
Jim.
Whoa, hold on. I wasn't finished setting up the backstory. If you don't properly roleplay as Jim, then you'll never understand the impact of this button. Otherwise, it's just a stupid button that says somebody else's name. Okay, we're doing it again, and this time let me finish first. Now, allow yourself to become Jim. Imagine you're...
Jim.
All right, fine, whatever. It's just a meaningless button that says Jim. Are you happy now? Get out of here. I'm done with this button. Why don't you go humiliate me in front of a different feature that I worked very hard on?
Uh-huh.
Jim.
See, if you'd only played along, that would have been your name the button says. But no. Instead, oh, I can't even
Jim.
think about it. I'm taking the Jim button away.
Jim.
That is rude. He stole the gym button. I wanted gym. I'll click those buttons. Oh. Huh. Well, that's
Maybe
insane.
I'll only let people named Jim play the Stanley Parable. An
Epilogue?
would be fun, wouldn't it, Stanley?
Oh.
Yes, it will go at the end of the, well, we'll figure that out later.
What's next then? Setting World Championship. Infinite free trophy. Oh. Free new plus easy trophy. Huh. Damn.
Now, here's something special. You remember that broken test trophy that got left in the game on accident? Well, I'm developing a technology to simply give you the trophy. Yes. You see, you'll come to this... Okay, perhaps I should have clarified. This is technology that will exist. Right now, the trophy is still fully broken. I'm not a wizard, Stanley, but I guarantee it will
You're a
be fixed in
wizard.
time to at last satisfy the hordes of ravenous fans all over the world who have been uproariously demanding this feature. Gamers, we hear you, and I promise it will happen.
Give it. Pull me. Can we grab a spanner? Fix it? Like, surely there's something we can do. So, anything back in? Huh. That's insane. Huh. Well,
What else? What other exhibits
Infinite
haven't
hole.
we seen yet?
what's this? And new, please no screenshots.
Okay, I'll be honest, I haven't yet decided on this one. I think that in the
I
new
screenshotted
version,
it.
the office could use a bit of decoration, like balloons. But I'm undecided on Get Well Someday and Happy 12th Birthday. Which would you go with?
I'm screenshotting this whole room, bro. I don't even care.
You know, sometimes when you solicit another person's opinion, it makes you realize that you knew which one you actually really wanted all along. Get Well Someday it is.
Bruh. That's a lot of balloons. Can I click again? No. Yeah, I took loads of screenshots. I don't even care.
Or actually, maybe I should have gone with... No. No, I've made my decision. We're moving on.
So it's just an infinity hole.
Stanley, here's an idea that I'm truly fond of. It's
Hole
never
lighting?
been done before in a video game. This is in fact a hole that you can fall down forever. That's right. Infinite falling. You can fall until the end of time if you like. A stunning leap forward, you see? Isn't it wonderful? One of my more ingenious concoctions, if I do say so. Now then, since you've gotten to see the infinite hole, you can press the teleport button to pop back up to the top, and we can continue onward.
Nah, I'm good.
Now, I don't mean to be a bummer, but I do recommend you use the teleport button to go back to the top. Maybe do it on the sooner rather than later spectrum of things.
So there's a bottom, huh? I want to see how infinite this is.
Okay, Stanley. I don't know quite how to say this tactfully, but it's possible that I slightly exaggerated the infinite nature of the hole. Is it a very, very deep hole? To be certain it is. It's an extremely deep hole. I don't want anyone to say that it isn't an astonishingly deep hole. It is. Is it infinite?
Your mum's got a deeper
Well,
hole.
that sort of depends on your definition of infinity. From one perspective, the infinite is merely philosophical in nature. It's more of a... Okay, well, good for you. You found the
What's down
bottom
here,
of
then?
the hole. You found me out, Stanley.
New mug.
A liar and a cheat, and you're so clever.
Meeting
Look, I
at
think the
2
issue here is
PM.
just that you're
Every
unusually
boss button is
fascinated
a
by
Roman
falling.
numeral.
What normal person actually
Just
wants
the
to
two of
fall
us, we
into?
can make it if we
I
try.
figured the
Just
hole
the
was as deep as
two
anyone
of
would
us.
actually need. Don't you put this on me. Maybe you're the problem.
Holding Cassie.
Look, things got a little heated there. I think we both said some things we didn't mean. Why don't we just put all this behind
a lot of
us and agree
cigarettes.
to just call the whole mostly infinite? If that
Doing
works for you,
it.
then go ahead and press the teleport button to warp up to the top of the hole and we can move on.
I like the bottomless hole.
Great. Now, oh, for heaven. You see, I was right. The problem is you. The problem is that you like holes too much. Not normal. A normal person would have said, yep, that's an infinite hole right there. Goes on forever till the end of time. Don't need to see it all, but not you. Oh, no, 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 no. You have a weird sort of... Oh. Did the hole seem even shorter to you this time? I couldn't help but feel like you spent a little less time in there than you did before. I mean, admittedly, I didn't make an infinite hole, but I didn't think it was that not infinite. Well, I suppose once again there's nothing to do here. If you decide you've had enough of the hole, you can hit the teleport button and come join me up above. Had enough? I'm positively thrilled. Gosh, how could I have guessed? You're back in the hole. If this starts to become a thing where... Wow. Okay. Yes. I'm starting to become extremely certain that the hole is not only not infinite, but that it's growing steadily less and less infinite. I suspect that I'm starting to hit the point where it's no longer feasible to call the hole infinitely deep, even by the lax overall standards for accountability and marketing. What's going on here? Stanley, I have no explanation for the uncertain nature of the hole's length. Here, let's try something. Let's pop back up to the top, and we'll see if it gets any shorter. Well, there it is. The shame of my lies. How is this still appealing to you? I know you're obsessed with holes, but at this depth, I just can't see this scratching the itch. Oh, who am I to judge? You just do whatever it is you're here to do and hit the teleport button when you're ready to move on. Is the, teleport button not working? You sure?
Yeah.
I mean, I really don't have an explanation. It was working just a moment ago. Try it again. Still nothing? Well, I suppose there is one thing I can do to fix this. I'm out. Goodbye, Stanley. You couldn't bear to be away from the hole, and now you're having more time with it than you could ever have asked for. It's a win for everyone. You get to be with the hole, I get to do literally anything else. Take care, Stanley. I hope you and the hole have a wonderful rest of eternity together.
This is angering. Huh. Oh, whoa. Hold on. Now I do like me some holes. Where am I going? That's crazy. I don't seem to have a teleport button either. Wait. Whoa. Damn, this guy's hot. This is insane. Whoa. I want to play around with the realities. Huh? Stanley? I like the look of this.
Stanley! Oh good, you're awake. It seems you had sort of dozed off there, drifting away into... We can't have that, Stanley. Because this hole is just so darn fascinating that I want you to be wide awake for every second of it.
Oh,
I
man.
don't want to miss a single moment. So how about
Bruh.
I just pop in from time to time and wake you up to keep you really, truly focused on the hole. From the looks of things, you and I will have many, many years here in this hole.
10
And I'm looking
years?
forward to all of them. Stay alert, Stanley. I'll be back. Toodlepip.
Music's back. Huh.
Here we are. Go on. Try out some of the new features.
Well, let's go to the reassurance bucket.
A common complaint of the Stanley Parable was that it was confusing and paradoxical, that it engendered a chaotic sense of reckless despair in those who played it. Well, I am happy to say that after much consideration, I've engineered a clever solution to this fundamental problem.
There's no bucket.
It's the Stanley Parable
Right.
Reassurance
Board
Bucket.
members,
You see,
please.
Stanley, anytime you're
Note
holding
that
it,
you must use the
a sense
following
of
terms
calm
as soon as possible.
ease will fill your mind
Considered
and your heart. It's true. As long as you hold on to the bucket, the many disorienting contradictions of the Stanley Parable will feel perfectly normal and perhaps even comforting. You may even come to long for the gentle embrace of jarring cognitive dissonance while the bucket is in your arms. And to be honest, it's a much more convenient solution for me than actually redesigning the game to be less uncomfortable. Can you imagine what a pain in the ass that would be? Yes, the bucket is the perfect solution. Come on, give it a try. Can you feel it? The glow of comfort, even in the face of crushing despair, must already be sweeping through your body. And in fact, can I say that I do believe the bucket lends you an air of charisma as well? I think that just holding it has made you the slightest bit more attractive as a person. The benefits of the bucket seem to go on, don't they? All this and more await you in the Stanley Parable 2. Does anyone give out awards for most enjoyable bucket in a video game? That really should be an award if it isn't already.
But we gonna lose this bucket. Oh, can I buy some merch? Right, let me save that QR code. I suppose we've done everything, have we? Collectibles. It just works. Infinite hole. Exit. Go up there next after we've taken a look at the trophy again. Huh. What's down here? So I can find Stanley Parable
Collectibles.
things.
Now it's a real video game. In the Stanley
I'ma
Parable
leave.
2, you'll run around gathering up these major Stanley figurines. And what's truly innovative is that there will be no reward for collecting all of them. I don't want to stifle the intrinsic joy of watching a number go up. You simply collect all of them, and then you move the hell on with your unremarkable life.
It's a lot of stuff. Wow.
God, it really is the worst when you collect everything in a video game and then they give you a big fancy reward for it. Absolutely tragic.
No, the jump circle.
You know what? Let's bring the jump circle back for Stanley Parable 2 as well. It's... Oh, wait. You already spent all your jumps the first time we saw the jump circle? Oh, well. I suppose it can just be a nice decorative piece, then.
That's rude. Hey, we're gonna go in the infinity hole. and everything. Let's like, we get to
Calling it the
it.
Stanley Parable 2 is just so much catchier than Ultra Deluxe, don't you think? Ultra Deluxe? What does it even mean? But the Stanley Parable 2, now that's an artistic statement right there. It's future-oriented. All right, have you seen everything you wanted to? Ready to move on now?
Yup. Tell me I get to keep the bucket. No screenshots.
So, Stanley, what do you think? Do you like all of the new features? Yes, I know it's not exactly clear yet how exactly these features will come together as one single coherent video game, but I can feel it in my soul. It's going to work. There's definitely a good game in
What
there
the
somewhere.
Fortnite lobby
So,
art music
let's
is
do an
this?
experiment. I'll arrange these new features together, and we'll see whether or not it coheres into a meaningful gameplay experience. Okay. Are you ready? Here it is. I give you the Stanley Parable 2.
That's cool.
Well, I mean, there's potential here, right? It's
Yeah.
sort of... Okay, never mind.
Oh, collectible.
Hold on. Let me do a different arrangement. Okay, yes, this is much better. I feel good about this. Here we go. Version 2. Who am I kidding, Stanley? This isn't a coherent video game at all. It's a lot of gags. And I do very much enjoy creating gags, but they don't add up to anything. I wanted more than anything to create a sequel that would capture all the magic of the first game. I wanted fans to love it. No matter how good these gags are, they won't stand on their own. They would need the structure and the gameplay of the original. Wait, maybe that's it. I can take the original Stanley Parable and simply, well, insert a few of my new features into it. Tastefully, of course. With respect. With care for the vision and integrity of the original game. Would it possibly work? I suppose it could. But it would need a really, really tremendous title screen. A title screen that says with bold and uncompromising conviction, "This is the Stanley Parable 2. Let me see if I can whip something up. All right, perfect. Go ahead. Take a look.
Did it change on the home screen? Nah. Skip button.
All of this
Yeah,
clear
balloons,
was gone.
balloons.
What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room.
The bucket?
Perhaps Stanley picked up the bucket.
Yeah, I like. Hide behind the door.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was this better than... No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room. And
Seen
so
what
the two
was.
of them detoured through the maintenance
Oh.
section and walked straight ahead to the opposite door.
It's like a labyrinth. Huh. You know, I kind of wish I went to the telephone now. I like that place.
Still no one was here. Stanley needed
Oh.
the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his boss's office was where he'd find answers. Oh, Stanley, can you feel it? The broom closet. It wants the bucket. You can feel that, can't you? The aura of jealousy. It's as clear as day. This broom closet believes it deserves the bucket. I can really feel it now. It's a bucket. It belongs in a broom closet. That's what the broom closet is trying to say. It's supposed to go with the other cleaning supplies. Good for you, Stanley. Don't give in. Don't hand over the bucket. I know how hard it must be, given the pressure that the broom closet is putting on your shoulders right now, but you have to be strong. This is your bucket. This is your companion and lifelong friend. You can't hand it over. Oh no. We're getting into name-calling now, it seems. Is this how low the broom closet has sunk, that it has to resort to this stream of petty insults simply in order to get you to hand over the bucket? Stanley, I never liked this broom closet for a variety of reasons, but even this is worse than I had imagined. And wait, now the broom closet has the gall to imply that you and the bucket are not truly deep and lasting friends? That your relationship is purely superficial and convenient? That your life is so banal and meaningless that you'd feel the same sort of kinship towards any inanimate object which happened to lay in your path in an even partially enticing manner? Well, I never. Go on, Stanley. Lay into it. Really tell the broom closet off for its demeaning comments. Expand on the wide variety of experiences you and the bucket have shared together. Go through each of them point by point. Share your journal entries detailing the rich emotional landscape of your feelings for the bucket as they have changed and evolved over the years. Let him have it.
We went through this thing and like the world got destroyed and
I've
we got some new stuff.
which I think will help settle this debate once and for all. Here we go.
Property
There.
of Stanley.
Now it's settled. No more debate, no more discussion.
What property?
Take our
Friends of mine.
closet with all your meandering philosophical diatribes about the nature of cleaning supplies and their relationship to broom closets in the natural order of things. All right, I've got a second sticker back here, and I'm going to slap it on as well because I think it's appropriate. You see? I feel that it works because the sticker is also a bucket. That way, if you're ever unsure whether the thing you're holding is a bucket or not, you can look down at this sticker and say to yourself, ah, it's a bucket. There really is a wide variety of applications for this sticker. You know what? I could take the name-calling and the dismissal of your kinship with the bucket, but now the broom closet is just giving us a silent treatment, and to be honest, I'm sick of the pettiness on display. You can stay here all you like, but I've had it with this impetulant room of cleaning supplies, easily the most childish such room I've ever been in. I'll see you outside, and we can get on with the story about you and your bucket. Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office. You found one of them. One of the miniature Stanley figurines. Remember, no reward for collecting all of these, only the intrinsic pleasure of a job well done. You can't buy that sort of happiness, Stanley. God knows I've tried. So, I implore you to savor each and every moment you come across one of these beautiful figurines. But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. He looked down at the bucket in his arms. Am I crazy? He asked the bucket. The bucket returned his gaze, but said nothing at all. That's strange, Stanley thought. Usually the bucket is a source of guidance and wisdom for me in difficult times such as these. He held the bucket close, yet felt none of its familiar reassurance and comfort. And that's when Stanley realized, this isn't my bucket. It's just a normal, everyday bucket. Someone else's bucket, perhaps. How did I end up with someone else's bucket? This is all terribly wrong. Surely no good would come from this. Who knows what sorts of bizarre hallucinations Stanley might experience without the psychologically grounding presence of his bucket. And indeed, now he noticed that the rooms were repeating, which was, of course, very odd. And now he felt himself floating off the ground. Oh, gracious, he exclaimed. Without my bucket, I've gone truly mad. Where is it? I must find it. Far off in the distance now, he heard it, calling to him.
Stanley! Stanley, it's me!
the bucket. Could it truly be? He rushed forward from room to room, passing by one bucket after the next. None of them were his. None of them were his special bucket.
Come to me, Stanley. Find me.
He had to find the bucket. He had to return to his old friend. It was the only way to truly restore his sanity. And then suddenly, he froze dead in his tracks. He knew where the voice of the bucket had been coming from. The real bucket was inside of him all along. It was incredibly painful. Stanley doubled over in agony and blacked out. This is the story of a woman named Mariella. Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose,
I was standing
dressed,
there,
picked up her bucket
just
of
wondering what would
comfort and
happen.
security, and walked to her place of work.
What?
But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town, talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. Right away,
Stanley
she knew
died.
what the problem was. This man had no bucket. Of course he'd gone mad, ranting and raving about a narrator describing all of his actions and how everything is predetermined and free will is an illusion and it's all just a video game. It could all have been prevented if only he'd taken his bucket with him. Perhaps he didn't even realize he'd forgotten his bucket at home in the first place. How good it could be, Mariella thought, and she hugged her own bucket even tighter. But of course, she had no time for this. There were a myriad of confusing problems she would soon have to confront at work, for which her bucket would provide absolute guidance and total clarity on everything. Heck yes, she thought to herself, my life kicks ass. And she backflipped all the way to work.
Excuse me. She backflipped all the way to work. Why Marianne now?
The
There's a
meeting
lot
room.
of paper
Yes,
here.
that's where everyone would be. Stanley just needed to get to the meeting room, and from there, Stanley lifted the bucket into his arms, and a wave of comfort rushed over him.
And what? Wait, huh? Ooh. What if I just... Huh? 47? No. What's going on back here? I'm Stanley. Figure Finance Committee. Huh. No new content?
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his... This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the
things we can do,
lounge
bro.
was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out...
I haven't even played the game properly.
Never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley
There's only to go down there.
to go back to the meeting room.
Would do that. But I'm doing what I was doing earlier.
Bucket.
Don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The car...
But Stanley feared that any path he walked might lead to the separation of himself and the bucket, his dearest friend. So he threw himself to his death, that they might die in one another's arms. How deeply touching.
Well, that's insane. No.
All of his co-workers were gone.
What?
What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to
Okay,
the meeting.
yeah.
The confusion and the chaos
That's a co-worker.
all seemed to melt away as Stanley embraced the bucket. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
No,
Said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yeah, good.
Said the bucket.
Now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do.
Stanley did
Is
not
this
question
actually the
why or
bucket?
how this
Huh.
bucket was speaking to him.
Wait a second.
It should have alarmed him, of course, because
Parkour.
buckets can't
Parkour.
talk. But Stanley chose not to think about this obvious fact. He was firmly convinced that the bucket had spoken to him, and he
I haven't been here yet.
unwittingly did whatever the bucket asked.
I need a key card. Oh. Wait, can I? If I were to like get down there and leave, danger everywhere. That's crazy. Crazy? That's crazy ones.
No, stop. Look there on the wall. You see, there's a sign right there. It says, no buckets past this point. Stanley, how could you think it was okay to bring the bucket here? Unless, what if the problem is that you actually don't know what is a bucket and what isn't a bucket? I suppose that would explain a lot about your behavior up to this point. Which, if that's true, well, I think we have to do something about it.
Nah.
This misunderstanding could have dire consequences on the entire rest of the game if not addressed quickly and properly. So much of the impact of the story is dependent on your understanding of what is and isn't a bucket. Please, step in here for a moment.
Well, time to find out what a bucket is. Whoa.
Now then, I'm going to run you through some test scenarios, and you'll tell me whether or not the thing I'm showing you is a bucket. Simple enough, right?
We're gonna get them all wrong.
Everything we'll ever need to know about what is or is not a bucket. Okay, let's begin. Item 1. Is this a bucket?
Yeah.
Incorrect. It is a
What?
hologram of a bucket, not an actual bucket.
Bruh. Huh.
Item 2. Is this a bucket? Incorrect. It is a 3D printed recreation of a bucket, not an actual bucket.
That's insane.
Item 3. Is this a bucket? Incorrect. This is a bucket.
Oh my god.
Item 4. Is this a bucket?
Yes.
Are you hallucinating? This is a tractor. It's an enormous machine that tills the earth. I thought this was a gimmick. How on earth did you manage to screw it up? Absolutely incredible. Let's just move on to the next one.
Who knows?
Is this a bucket? Incorrect. This is a bucket.
What the flippity flop?
Item 6. Is this a bucket?
Yeah.
Both. Gotcha.
Huh?
Item... Wait, hold on. I can't find the next one. Let me see. It should be around here somewhere. Yes. Thank you. There's nothing here. Of course it isn't a bucket. We both know full well that nothing isn't a bucket. Wait, when I say nothing isn't a bucket, that makes it sound like I'm saying everything is a bucket, which of course is not true. Unless... Is that what you think? Answer me straight, Stanley. Are you trying to tell me that you believe everything is a bucket? You know what? I'm too confused to even sort it out. I've lost
Everything is a bucket.
perspective. What is a bucket? What isn't a bucket? Mere moments ago I could answer these questions with confidence. And yet now I'm somewhat adrift. Do any of us know what a bucket is? Am I a bucket? Stanley, I can't keep doing this. I'm losing myself, and myself was all I ever had to begin with. I'm afraid the bucket is threatening to tear our relationship apart. I can't have that. I'm sorry. But I'm going to erase all buckets from the game entirely. Okay, here we go. What happened? Is everything gone? Why did everything disappear? Wait, was everything a bucket? Every single thing in the game was a bucket. My God, I had no idea. How could... except me. I'm not a bucket after all. And you, Stanley, you're still here. You're not a bucket either. Oh, this is wonderful news. We're not buckets. Yes, I actually feel much more at ease right now. It's delightful to get some clarity on that issue, but it doesn't change the fact that we haven't got a game. So, tell you what, I'll reset everything and we'll put back all of the buckets, okay? And we'll know that it's all a bucket. But if you run into anyone else, maybe don't mention that. Who knows what that information might do to a person? All right, here we go. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. The lounge was grand, majestic, perhaps, but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten. What? Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Another miniature Stanley figurine. This, you know, there really must be a snappier name for these things. What about mini-stands? Stanley figs? What about Stanlerines? Yes, I think I like that. Another Stanlerine under your belt. Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door. Aha, perhaps you misunderstood. Stanley walked through the red door. I still don't think we're communicating properly. Stanley walked through the... All right, fine, go ahead, Stanley. You want to know so badly what's out there? You want to find out what lies at the end of this road you've chosen? Well, don't let me stop you. You see? There's nothing here. I haven't even finished building this section of the map, because you were never supposed to be here in the first place. Broken rooms, exposed developer textures. Is this what you had wanted? Was it worth ruining the entire story I had written out specifically for you? Do you not think I put a lot of time into that? Because I did. And in the end, it was all for nothing, because this is what you wanted to see. Help me here, Stanley. Help elucidate these strange and unknowable desires of yours. What would have made this game better? What did you want to see? Vehicles? Skill trees? Work with me. You've given me absolutely nothing so far. Tell you what, let me take a stab in the dark at a new design, and you can give me some feedback. There we go. A third option. This already feels leaps ahead of where we were before. Go ahead, Stanley. Take it for a spin. Okay, I'm going to stop you there. Now, tell me about your experience with this new version. Would you say that the game benefited from allowing you more choices? Feel free to be honest. I'm looking for some real critical feedback here. A 1? I mean, I can understand if you had reservations, you saw ways the game could be improved to more fully express itself mechanically and artistically, but a 1? That's not even helpful. What am I supposed to do with that? But I guess it isn't my place to judge. Here, based on the data from your previous playthrough, I've compiled a new version. And to be perfectly candid, I think I've knocked it out of the park with this one. Let's take a look. Now, would you say that competitive leaderboard helped you feel motivated to keep walking through doors? Again, honest answers, please. Hey, I nearly forgot. I've got a prototype of a new game I've been working on, and now would be a lovely opportunity to give it some playtesting. You wouldn't mind taking a look at it, would you? Perfect. Let me boot it up. In this game, the baby crawls left towards danger. You click the button to move him back to the right, and if he reaches the fire, you fail. It's a very meaningful game, all about the desperation and tedium of endlessly confronting the demands of family life. I think the art world will really take notice. But of course, the message of the game only becomes clear once you've been playing it for about 4 hours. So why don't you give it 4 hours of play to make sure it's effective? Be sure to keep notes on your experience. Heartless bastard.
Hey.
Did you do it because you hate babies or
Yup.
purely to spite me?
Yup.
Because if it's the latter, well, I don't know what to do. I'm completely out of ideas. I can't think of a single thing that might improve the experience for me. I'm not even going to try. I'm out. I'm done. It's
Yep.
over.
Oh,
Thank
no.
you for playing. Your input was extremely
No.
valuable. Oh, hey, since my game was so awful, why don't we play someone else's game, just to ease the pain? Let's see. What do we have here? Yes, this seems like it'll work. Let's give it a shot.
What game are we playing then?
Aha! Fascinating. What do you
Fire
think this game is about, Stanley?
tower?
What's
Huh?
our backstory?
This is the
What our
fire tower.
motivation? Well, it seems obvious to me that you are meant to play as a creepy man spying on innocent civilians below you from up high in your creep tower, perhaps for some sort of twisted erotic purpose. Yes, that must be it. What a fascinating venture into the experience of total mental depravity. So far, I love everything about this game, Stanley. And it seems as if
Why are we playing? Isn't this Firewatch?
See what else is out there.
Like Firewatch Defense, or like this is that. I assume they are the developers of this game in that case. Well, as soon as we let the baby on fire,
No, it can't be.
that's total detour.
It's an open world game. Good
Oh.
God, quickly block it off.
No.
Thank goodness, Stanley. What a close call. You nearly wandered off into that thing. That big, open, just wandering around. No right or wrong directions. No path. You could just go in any... Oh, thank heavens we avoided it. We're out of the woods now, Stanley. Okay, I'm going to get us out of here. Let's find another game. Preferably
No,
something with
let me
walls.
through.
Something with nice, big, insurmountable walls. Okay, I think this will be just the thing. Wonderful. See, this is exactly what I had in mind. Just a nice big box for you to run around in. There isn't any possibility that you could get lost here. Now this is game design. Stanley, if you manage to get lost in this game, I will be phenomenally impressed. Okay, so what exactly do we do here? Let's see. There are lots of cars here in the back, but obviously there's no racetrack. Okay, I'm seeing that there's a ball of some kind back here. Is this game sports ball? Stanley, I think it's sports ball. Oh, what fun. We shall run the bases and do a touchdown together? Yes, I think surely we must. Okay, Stanley, here's the ball. Have fun. Are you doing it? Are you winning? Is this fun? Is it better than my miserable little story that I worked so hard on? Hold on. What are you doing?
Stanley, don't do that. I can't follow you there. I can't help you. How will you write a story without me? You can't do it. You know that. Stanley.
I wonder what he found. If what he wanted was to be the leading man in his own story, well, perhaps he's gotten it, down in wherever he is right now. I wonder if he's happy with his choice, and if he's learned the heavy cost that comes with it. He'll understand soon what I was
You sent
trying
me
tell him.
to start playing Rocket League.
Someone who will wrap everything up at the end to make sense out of the chaos and the
I was
fear
just
and
playing
confusion.
Rocket League in the
That's
Stanley
it.
Parable.
That is what I mean to this world. Oh, yes. Yes, I'll be back. There's no other way. Once this ends, after it all comes to a close, then I'll be back. The end will be here soon. Very soon. I can wait.
Oh no. When do we get sent back to the original game? Oh, here we go. Oh no, we've got sent back to the bit with the balloons. Meeting today. Bucket? I'll take the bucket this time.
Spread through Stanley's arms. With the bucket in his arms again,
Oh,
he was home.
I've never taken the left.
Tightly to his... This was not the correct way to the
I've
meeting.
been playing Stanley Parable
Stanley
2.
had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was.
Is there anything special about the
Turned out to be
lounge?
correct. Was this better than the meeting room? Yes, Stanley thought to himself.
Yep.
Yes, perhaps it true. No.
We're looking for a ventilation shaft
It was
though.
wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back, and so the two of them
Oh, come
detoured
on.
through the maintenance section and walked straight ahead to the opposite door.
Not been down here yet. Let's see. Can I slip on the side there? Nope. Oh.
Oh, good Stanley. I'm glad you found your way here. I knew you'd find this place.
Huh.
You see,
Hello.
your friends and I are concerned for you, Stanley. We've come together
The
here
broom
because we care
closet,
about you
that
very
person,
much.
that
It's this
baby.
bucket you're carrying around everywhere. The bucket isn't even from the original Stanley Parable. It's just sequel content. We're the ones that matter, Stanley. Classic characters from the first game, like the Adventure Line and the Broom Closet. Because that's what fans want from a sequel. They want more of their favorite jokes, not this bucket that they've never seen before.
Right, the
Yes, I
plants.
know I'm
What?
the one who gave you the bucket, but you're spending too much time with it. Don't you want another story involving the Adventure Line? We could make the Adventure Line go somewhere new. Yes, yes, that's what the fans want. Let's... Whee! Look at that wacky line. Who knows where it'll go off to next? Oh, and it played some silly music as well.
For peak content. Yo.
Now, this is what the Stanley Parable is all about. Don't you remember all those great jokes from the original dialogue?
Also, Stanley's addicted to drugs and hookers.
It's as classic now as it was back then. Let's do it for the fans, Stanley. Let's give them more content exactly like this. But if we want to do that, you're going to have to give something up.
Not the bucket.
Don't you get it, Stanley? We need to get rid of the bucket. That's why I'm very proud to introduce a brand new character. This is the Bucket Destroyer.
Yeah, no.
I think it'll make a wonderful new addition to the rich lore of the Stanley Parable. True, it also was not in the
Stanley
original
Parable
game,
lore
but it's
is
such a
doo-doo.
well-fleshed-out character with so much personality that to me it already feels as though it's been part of the cast all along. Don't you agree? Can you guess what the Bucket Destroyer does? Surely you don't need me to spell it out for you. Go ahead now, Stanley.
Nope.
Say goodbye to the bucket, and then pop it into the machine when you're ready.
Can I destroy it? I
Now
feel like
listen
I
to
should go
me.
there.
It's crucial that you give it the bucket. I don't know what the Bucket Destroyer will do if it can't destroy your bucket. Destroying buckets is all it knows. That is its singular personality trait.
Can't only give it,
So
but
I can hear you saying, how does a character with only one personality trait deserve to join the pantheon of beloved Stanley Parable characters? Well, you see, if you were to
Bro,
really
the vibration
explore
of my
the
controller
Bucket
is
Destroyer,
insane.
you would see that its desire to crush buckets is so densely loaded with complexity and nuance that it's really like 10 personality traits. What other object in this game can you even say that about? The broom closet? Certainly not. I wonder what sort of Bucket Destroyer merchandise the fans will be clamoring for after this. Okay, the Bucket Destroyer is getting very upset now. You'll have to hurry and feed it. We can't get back to the classic Stanley Parable characters like the Adventure Line or the Bucket Destroyer until you crush that damn bucket. Quickly now, the fans are waiting. Do it, the fans, Stanley.
Nah.
Give the fans what they want. Hurry and...
Is this heaven? Bro, the Bucket Destroyer was God. In a way.
Destroyer, my proudest creation. You had so much potential. We were going to do such marvelous things with you, tell such spell-binding stories about you. All of it squandered now. Goodbye, new friend. For the moment in time that you were here, you were magnificent.
That is insane. Well, yeah. Oh well. Oh?
A
No
soft wind
bucket.
blew outside and perhaps rain started, and if it did, it stopped shortly after. Stanley hoped that he would one day see weather.
Is there a bucket with me?
Stanley picked up the bucket and smiled. He'd never be alone again, not truly alone, not with the bucket around. Stanley clutched the bucket
I've
tightly
literally
to his
never
chest.
been left.
This was not the
I said for one time, but
meeting room.
that's when
Stanley
the
had felt
place
the
blew
bucket
up.
calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? No, never mind. The bucket
But it was wrong.
Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
No, the controller disconnected and
Said the
died.
bucket.
Don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Good.
Said the bucket.
Now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do.
He did not question why or how this bucket was speaking to him. It should have alarmed him, of course, because buckets can't talk.
I might just
Stanley chose
like
not to
completely
think.
restart the game, you know, and just
He was firmly convinced that
Play
the
it how I
bucket
should.
had spoken to him, and he unthinkingly did whatever the bucket
I'm
asked.
sorry, Bucket, but I need to cheat on you.
In here.
Said the bucket.
Go into this dark room over here.
Stanley once again obeyed blindly.
Bro, it all started out with us just walking in the wrong direction a few times, and
Now
then
pick up the phone.
Said the bucket. Whoa, hold on. Why did you unplug the phone? Were you trying to resist? Stanley, I was joking. Obviously, the bucket isn't talking to you and telling you to do things.
Yeah.
Buckets can't talk. It was a joke. Don't you get the joke? It's
Shut up.
funny, Stanley. A talking bucket. Can't you see? Oh, goodness. I must have really bungled up the delivery if you actually took me seriously. Where did I mess up the joke? Should I have paused for longer or spoken quicker?
Oh, shut up.
Comedic timing is so difficult. I wish I were better at it, but there isn't exactly an instructional video on comedy that one can watch. Yes, there is. It's sitting right here. Let's take a look.
What is comedic timing? What is
Meh.
comedic timing? How does it work? How long should it last? How can it be used to effectively silence your political enemies? And more importantly, can it be taught in its entirety within 90 seconds? Thankfully, the answer to all of these questions is yes. Let's dive deeper. If you've ever told a joke or made someone laugh, in all likelihood, you did it while standing 50 to 80 centimeters from them in a room of no more than 76 degrees Fahrenheit, with one of your arms raised straight upward at a 15-degree angle from your body. These are the optimal conditions for good comedic timing. To begin the joke, start by stating and spelling your name. Next, provide a brief synopsis of the joke, including the specific times at which the recipient of the joke will laugh, and then spell out your name a second time. With these steps complete, it's time to begin the humor. Speak the entire joke in no more than 18 seconds and no less than 13 and a half, pausing only for bathroom breaks when necessary. When the joke has concluded, it is customary to inform your listener that the joke is over by declaring in your loudest possible voice, "I'm Dunny with the funny." Let's practice screaming, "I'm Dunny with the funny" now.
I'm Dunny with the funny.
Good. This saying is a perfect example of expectations management, which is the cornerstone of good comedy. Finally, it's time to hand out surveys. Collecting hard data from your audience on how rapt they were throughout the joke is the only way to grow or learn as a comedian. An effective survey should be no less than 10 pages long and should include the same question reprinted several times, just to ensure the survey taker is actually paying attention and not simply filling in answers at random. And that's all there is. With these strategies at your disposal, you'll have audiences doubled over in laughter and even tripled over in laughter in no time at all. Just remember to let them stop laughing at some point, you gut-busting little scamp. After all, we're each of us needed on the front lines of the war to fight the 12-legged invader who threaten our very existence and who very likely die in a hailstorm of bullets and mandibles. All of us must be prepared to give our lives to this noble cause, just as our children must do after us, and their children after them. Godspeed, and may Earth reign supreme.
Aha.
Hey, goodness, this video is a little outdated, isn't it? Well, no matter. I think the fundamentals of proper comedic timing are still as relevant today as they were back then. So with that in mind, I believe the only way forward is for us to return to the two doors and walk through all of this again, so I can try telling my story with more appropriate comedic delivery. Come along, let's head back.
Nah. Can I plug the phone back in? Oh. You know what? Be resetting. I think this resets it. No, I'm playing Stanley Parable 2 again.
This is the...
So if I just look through, no, I'm still playing Stanley Parable 2. Credits. No, wrong button. Setting. Yep, let's play the game as we should. I think we'd practically discovered everything except for bucketness. Yes.
This is the story of a man. All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there. Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here. So coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this. Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway. Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long. Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Well, that's crazy.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
Yeah, let's keep going.
Now the monitors jumped to life.
Oh,
Their
whoa.
true nature revealed.
Fired.
Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's
Oh.
co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place,
That's
where
great.
freedom meant nothing.
That's 429. There I am.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this
That
time?
one's got weird
Was
stuff
this the
on
only
it.
reason he
And
was
then there's
happy
two
with his
that's been
boring
fighting.
job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No. He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human. Blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over? Yes. He had won. He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him, for it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps... Stanley stepped through the open door. Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen.
I think we've done everything in the game. Huh.
Was happy.
No, I'm not really that happy. Can we go back to something else? Yeah, we beat the game.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley
Well,
decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had
let's
simply
keep
missed a
going.
minute. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Let's just do what we didn't do before.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
No collectibles. I'm alright. Yep.
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss. Admitting he had left his post during work hours, he might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished. His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe
Well,
I am
there's no
crazy.
buckets, you
All
know.
of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all. None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. Why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down?
Yeah.
Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for
One,
that
two,
matter,
behold, huh?
these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. "I'm dreaming!" he yelled. "This is all a dream." Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up
Why are my
soon.
budgies
I'll have to go back
slapping
to my
stuff in the
boring
background?
real-life
What
job
is
pushing
Davina
buttons.
doing?
I may as well
Eating
enjoy this while I'm
plastic.
still lucid. So he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground.
Oh no.
Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too appeared. It was
So this is a
much
dream,
fun
huh?
that Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment and my wife and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine. I am okay. Stanley began screaming. Please, someone, wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black. This is the story of a woman named Mariella. Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy, this much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day, the very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran. All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. What could it mean? Stanley wondered aloud to nobody. He began wildly tearing through papers on the boss's desk, pulling books off the shelf, looking behind paintings, desperate for clues to his situation. But his attention was caught by a keypad behind the boss's desk. What could its purpose be? In fact, this keypad guarded the terrible secret that lay buried below his feet. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this. Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway. Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.